A warm welcome to Aviation this week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Jo Kitumbi. Sustaining Nigeria's records as one of the nations in Africa that has maintained high standard of safety in air transport requires concerted efforts. From regulatory oversight, airline self-monitoring, and the provision of infrastructure at airports, everyone in the safety chain is important. With airlines in dire straits at the moment, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it's no longer just concerned about safe operations, but also with financial health. The safety of the industry is our focus, plus how the Accident Investigation Bureau contributes its own quota to aviation safety. And another story, Governor Wike of Rivers State commissions a new VIP lounge at the Port Harcourt International Airport in Omagua, Rivers State. Our background report is next. Aviation is the safest form of long-distance transport. In 2018, the all-accident rate measured in accidents per 1 million flights was 1.35, which was the equivalent of one accident for every 740,000 flights. This was an improvement over the overall accident rate of 1.79 for the previous 5-year period between 2013 and 2017. The 2018 fatality risk of 0.17 means that on average, a person would have to travel by air every day for over 16,500 years to experience a 100% fatal accident. Safety remains the highest priority of all involved in aviation. The shared goal is for every flight to take off and land safely. Nigeria's major air crash occurred in June 2012. In the last 6 years, Nigeria has not recorded any major accident except that of August 2020, which recorded 3 fatalities.
Aviation, you can't do without aviation. Anywhere in the world, I haven't seen one person that will say, I'd rather go by boat from London to New York than to fly. Everybody wants to fly. It's a fact. In the last 6 years, only 3 souls have died from air transportation. 3 in the last 6 years. We connect cities, we connect people, we make things happen.
The crash of the Naira and the hike in the cost of aviation fuel is worsening the battle for survival by domestic airlines and is raising aviation safety concerns. But some passengers here say they are confident of the nation's air safety.
Aircraft maintenance, I think most of the time, is in dollars. So, which is not available. So, I hope they will not compromise. But what I discovered is that maybe the majority of them that has maybe 3 planes, 4 planes before, maybe they dropped to maybe started using 1 or 2, so that those are the ones they can maintain. That is why you discover that sometimes you started having flight delay. Maybe before they have 2 planes, maybe 1 going to Abuja, but now the same plane will move from Lagos to Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt to Abuja, Abuja back to Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt to Lagos. So, aviation industry, when it comes to standard, they are very strict. So they don't joke with standards. And even aircraft maintenance, you have procedures which they have to follow step by step. Some 100 procedures, 100 steps, 100 steps, which they have to follow. So if all those things, so they have to look, so it's not, so I have no fear because I believe that there are standards which there are people there that ensures that those standards are followed.
If you come to situation of safety, to that regard, we can say they are improving. They are coming off now. But in some other services, these customer relations and what have you, there is a lot about things to do, and they have to check about that. You can book a flight in a particular time. You have already scheduled for your traveling and what have you. But unfortunately, it will be rescheduled again. So apart from that, there is a lot of issues pertaining where to go, there is no even direction of showing how to do this, how to do that. It's very unfortunate.
One key area that lends to aviation safety is the implementation of civil aviation regulations, and perhaps this is what led to 2 airlines temporarily shutting operations.
Economic is weather. It's looking at the financial health of the airlines, and in doing that, you look at not just the pay slip, whether you are paid salary or not. But the moment an airline begin to own, cannot pick bills, there is a signal to unhealthy financial situation, and we will carry out the economic audit. Then, of course, other things where you cannot even repair your vehicles, where you cannot pay staff at when due, is a signal. Then, of course, that will lead to carry out a safety audit. Then, of course, safety audit was actually carried out. That is now looking to the machines, looking to the personnel, whether they are trained as at when due, they get the necessary training, validation, stimulations, and every other thing. Then, of course, you come to a conclusion, which is based on facts. It's the outcome of those investigations. Then, of course, the decision is, even before it is communicated officially, it's also known to the airline what is going to come from fact, because you can't contest facts.
For an analyst, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has to be on top of its game this time more than ever.
Once there is suspicion that people might cut corners because of the cost of fuel, I know NCA is going to step up their oversight, and if they do that, there will still be air safety in place. Otherwise, if there is no oversight, proper oversight of the industry, everybody will want to cut corners to save money and at least declare dividends to their investors. But the industry is not like a rail line or motor vehicle. So there will be stress again on NCA too, to make sure that their eyes are wide open to the activities of airlines.
Safety recommendations derived from investigations are issued by accident investigation authorities with the intention of preventing accidents and incidents. Annex 13 requires that states shall address, when appropriate, any safety recommendations arising out of its investigations to the accident investigation authorities or other state concerned. Just recently, Cameroon Air Investigation Authorities visited Nigeria seeking for help from the AIB Nigeria over the unfortunate cavorting crash of May 2022, which occurred in that country, all in a bid to unravel the cause and, by extension, up safety on the continent. On our interview segment, the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Musa Nuhu, speaks on how the regulator is conducting its oversight despite the hard times for airlines and the industry.
And what we are facing now is a financial and economic crisis in the aviation industry. And we are intervening to ensure that it remains economic and financial crisis while the relevant bodies, relevant organization, the Ministry of Aviation headed by the Honorable Minister of Aviation, and the members aviation committee not treat aviation in absolute isolation of the economic environment it operates. What is happening to aviation is happening to all sectors. But I understand air transport has become very critical for Nigerians now because it's becoming the favorite means of transportation due to other challenges, traveling by roads, and also air transportation, God forbid, deals with the lives of human beings. You don't lose money, you don't lose property, it's the lives of human beings. And we cannot quantify the life of a single human being. So we do all our best to ensure that despite these challenging difficulties, we ensure safety is priority. Safety supersedes. At this point in time, safety supersedes any other consideration and flight operations in this country. Aero came out, the manager of Aero came, they sat down with us, they did a presentation on how they're trying to restructure and reposition their company for more effective provision of services. And they told us of their plan to suspend their own operations voluntarily. And to me, that was okay. We're not here to kill any organizations. We're here to work with them. They presented a very good plan. And when they are done, they'll come back to us. We'll sit down and we'll work with them. And any kind of assistance they need, we give them. So Aero voluntarily suspended their own operations based on their situation and their plan to restructure and reposition their airline. And I must commend the management of Aero for taking that decision on their own. We did technical audit with Aero, very little or no findings. It shows that they operate safely in compliance with all our regulations. And it's just that, unfortunately, they got into this financial problems that has been brewing for a period of time. So it's the same financial and economic health audit wasn't so good in a bad state. That can be fixed, but during the investigations, we came across a series of violations that were of grave concern to us. And for the interest of safety of the public, we decided to stop the operations until these matters are resolved. Initial reports I get, Jet A1 is more available in Lagos and Abuja. Other stations have difficulties, but we are investigating. We have a team that has gone investigating this cause of this delay. But generally, a lot of them complain the availability of fuel, and sometimes, well, it's a claim that some fuel suppliers demand them to pay in cash because they have outstanding debt. Some of the airlines have outstanding debt, so the fuel suppliers don't want to add to that outstanding debt. So if an airline is operating, depending on where they have to pay cash for Jet1, and sometimes to raise that cash, they have to go and congregate all the ticket sales they have done and raise funds to pay for this.
Planes loaded with supplies. Flying small planes is only a hobby for 35-year-old Rene Lorman. But now, he regularly embarks on 3-hour-long trips to Poland to deliver medical aid to victims of the war in Ukraine and to take Ukrainian refugees with special needs back to Germany.
We're flying to Poland today. We have an aid shipment with us for Ukraine, mainly medicines. On our way back, we're going to take passengers with us. We'll take them to Bonhangla. These are passengers who can't be easily transported over land because they have serious health problems. Some of them are probably children. You can never be 100% sure about what to expect. You just have to see.
Lorman is part of a private organization of 5 German pilots who have organized an air bridge with their planes.
There are medicines for cancer patients, first aid for those with broken bones or fractures, styptic drugs and medicines that need to be refrigerated, such as insulin. That's why it has to be shipped as soon as possible.
Auch blutstillende Mittel.
Once all supplies are loaded onto the planes, the pilots take off for the 3.5-hour flight to Rzeszów, about 1,000 kilometers from Mainz.
The challenge in regard to the Ukrainian border is that we are flying to the airport that is also a large NATO base. Our small planes are not so welcome there. We have to arrange everything. We have also come to an agreement with the airport there. We are staying in close contact with it so that everything will go smoothly.
At Rzeszów Airport, Ukrainian refugees with special needs were waiting to board one of the planes to Germany.
We have already carried out 20 flights and we transported around 20 persons. Those were people with special needs, ill people. Today, we are taking a stroke patient to Cologne.
Among those who boarded were an elderly man and a woman with her autistic sister. Another plane took on board an elderly woman with mobility issues and a mother and her teenage deaf-blind son. The pilots flew their Ukrainian passengers to an airport in Bonn, in Germany, where they were to receive further support.
This is the new look of the VIP lounge at the local wing of the Port Harcourt International Airport, Umagwa, in the Kwere local government area of Rivers State, built and furnished by the Rivers State government. It's a one-story building consisting of a screening hall, administrative block with lounges for VIPs.
This edifice, you will only appreciate it when you enter inside. When you enter inside, you will, whoever that enters inside, we know the type of work that was not inside.
Unlike previous inauguration ceremonies, Governor Wike is to personally inaugurate this project as he commends the local contractor for a job well done.
Look at what the local contractor did. He never gave us any problem because he knows what it takes. He knows he's building his career. If he did not complete this work, would I have come now to say, we'll give you other jobs?
The VIP lounge is inaugurated by the governor as he leads the way to tour the facility.
Several Chinese airlines recently announced the resumption of direct passenger flights between China and Britain after over a year and a half of suspension due to COVID-19. So far, there are 4 Chinese airlines restarting services to the UK: Air China, China Eastern Airlines, China Southern Airlines, and Beijing Capital Airlines, with flights departing from Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. These direct flights between China and Britain are all one-way outbound flights. As for fares, booking platforms show that a one-way ticket costs around $1,500 for economic class. China suspended flights to and from Britain in late 2020 to cope with the possible impact of a new coronavirus strain. The airport authority said that for the first time, summer flights to various destinations in Europe from Eilat will start in the coming days. They include Batumi, Georgia, and Larnaca, Cyprus on Israeli carrier Arkia, and Warsaw and Katowice on Poland's Enter Air. Pegasus in October will fly Israelis to Turkey with 4 flights a week. Palestinians from the West Bank will be able to fly on special flights from Ramon Airport near the Red Sea resort city of Eilat to destinations in Turkey. This is according to Israel's airport authority. The move is the latest step in Israel offering economic ease to Palestinians in the absence of Israeli-Palestine peace talks, and follows pressure from the United States President Joe Biden, who visited Israel last month. Without an airport of their own, West Bank Palestinians who cannot fly from Israel's Ben Gurion Airport without special permission typically will have to travel to Jordan to catch international flights. These flights will not be offered to Palestinians from Gaza. Under the pilot program, the flights will run twice a week, starting at the end of August to Istanbul and Antalya on Turkish carrier Atlas and Pegasus, and using Airbus A321 aircraft. Ramon Airport, which opened in 2019, is about 300 kilometers from Jerusalem and designed to take any planes rerouted from Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv. Foreign carriers such as Ryanair, Wizz Air, and Lufthansa began to fly non-stop to older Eilat airports in 2015 during winter months after Israel offered airlines €60 per passenger brought on direct flights from abroad. But the COVID-19 pandemic largely altered those flights. Domestic airports, as the name implies, only offer local services, that is, flights within the same country. They also have short runways compared to international airports. According to FAN, 11 airports in its network operated domestic flights in 2021, and over 5 million passengers were moved through these domestic terminals between January and June. Flights operate into airports in Nigeria both day and night, but some airports do not operate or receive flights beyond 6 p.m. These are often referred to as sunlight airports.
You know, for the airlines to also strive, infrastructure is also key for them, and it guarantees the safety of their aircraft. And the fact that some facilities, some airport that is not made available, cannot allow them operate fully. For instance, that that particular axis, they might probably be able to fly 3 times in a day, but because of these challenges and this lack of some infrastructure placed there, they are forced to just do one flight, and of course that's loss of revenue, because for an airline to know that they can do 3 frequencies, that means they have done their assessment, they have done the statistics, and they know that the passengers are there. But then again, what always happens, like me coming from a travel agency's point of view, most times we have people requesting for that route, and you check the system, it's full because it's just one schedule. But if you had multiple schedules, it will give more opportunities for people. So it is key for the airline. That's why it's a concern for them.
The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria explains why some airports do not operate beyond a certain time.
How do you explain why fixing taxiway Bravo? It's not the one we started 10 years ago. But I'm a pilot, I know the importance. Now it's gone. You cannot land one head left in the night. We contacted the main airfield lighting contractors in Europe, ADBJ, to come and overhaul the whole airfield lighting system that was not overhauled into QA. That's also in the process. So our commitment is to go beyond our normal responsibilities. We are fixing things to make sure that those that come after us will have it much easier.
Some airports, including the Akano Ibiam International Airport Enugu, the Margaret Ekpo International Airport Calabar, and the Benin Airport, have night facilities but do not operate in the night. When airlines operate at any time of day, they pay varying charges to the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria and the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency for the services rendered. Research shows that there have been many occasions flights were forced to return to airport of departure because the airlines operating the flights did not pay the charges, or there were disagreements between the airline and personnel in charge of the airport. But is it feasible that all airports operate a 24-hour service?
No, the states that can actually fund a 24-hour airport are Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, because they are center of commerce in Nigeria. And then we have a lot of businesses, corporate entities who can fund, and then the government too, in terms of internally generated revenue or the revenue that accrues to them. They can use it by their civil servants can go in and out. The state government can pay for their airfare and such like.
Sunsetting the airport is a colossal loss, both to the airport operator and to the airlines. All we need to do is to put the facilities there to run 24 hours. What does it cost? It costs power and all the nav aids to work. As simple as that. I mean, countries of less capacity than Nigeria, they are running 24-hour airport. Put all the necessary equipment on those terminals and the runways, let the power work, and ensure there is serious security, because security is major here now.
While the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria insists running 24 hours operations has major cost implications, an expert believes it's time airports run as business concerns.
Why can't we concession it or privatize it and allow these business-minded people to take it up? And it will be managed profitably. But if we continue to put business in the hands of governments and the workers are not so keen, or they will tell you, well, because we couldn't find diesel, the airport will not operate, then they are not thinking business like.
With the cost of operations hitting the roof and many domestic airlines facing an economic crunch, it may just be time for airline and airports to work out a system where both become winners in the aviation chain. A popular quote says, every takeoff is optional, every landing is mandatory. And this is where we land on the program. See you next week. I'm Bukola Ju Oketumbi.